Good morning, Facebook. It's been a bit of an erratic week this week. Not been able to get here at 11 o'clock, so I thought balls to it. It's 10 past 9 and here I am. It's always good though to try doing a Facebook Live at different times, just to kind of see what the engagement is like, see whether people are actually watching. Because I've heard a few different people say this. If you work a permanent job, people sometimes, I mean, come on, mate. What are you doing? We're live here. I just turned his computer on and the sounds just come on. Anyway, yeah, somebody said to me that permies, it's not fair to say permies, because when you're a contractor, you can kind of say this about permies, but it's not always true. They say that permies, they get in at 9, pretend they're doing work for about an hour, and then go off and do something else. Like you'll see them on Facebook watching lives and on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But I'll say me and Adam and Jack, we all run the businesses ourselves, and we all do the same thing. We still do a bit of work, then go on YouTube, check Facebook, all that kind of jazz. So it's not just permies. Anyway, so yeah, I thought I'd do it about 10 past 9, just see if anybody comes on, and there is one person on. Hey Alex. Hey Ben. 6 a.m, everyone raves about it, I don't know why. Well, yeah, the 6 a.m. club, yeah. And it's just really to say we're better than you, getting up early. Because we go to the gym or we go networking. No, not really. Anyway, so the Facebook Live today is about feedback and responsibility. So I've talked about bad feedback, and actually I've kind of been evocative in that statement because I don't believe any feedback is bad feedback. I genuinely believe that all feedback is constructive. I tell you, the only bad feedback that is bad feedback is sound. You know, if you get feedback in the mics, that's bad feedback. But generally, constructive criticism, as it might be called, is always good, and you should take this on board, whatever the situation. This time last week, I had a really difficult conversation with a client of ours because we'd done something in not the right way, is the best way to put it. We missed a few steps, I think, in the process, and it caused our client to get upset. Upset, that's one way to put it. It's not quite the right descriptive word, but they were not happy about it, right? And if I think about things that have happened over the years, we've been going for 4.5 years, and there's been maybe a handful or two of situations where we've had to have a difficult conversation. And for me, how this relates to responsibility is I always say that it's my fault. Whatever happens, I'm ultimately responsible for the business. So I have to take that on board and then try and implement something that will stop that from happening. So in the past, that has meant things like we've had situations where we've had to put in a feedback loop. So we send a video to somebody, we have a review page, they put in the comments to review it, and then we go and improve things on the back of that. There might be situations where we've changed the process. Let's say like equipment. We didn't used to check out our equipment, and so we would just go and pack the equipment up, take it out to a job, bring it back, unpack it, put it back in the cupboard. And of course, over time, we were like, oh, where's that shotgun mic that Adam left at a wedding a while ago? Or where's the GoPro that we left in a field once? So we sort of got to that point and we're like, okay, we need a process now to say these are the bits of equipment that we've checked out. Also our insurance, I mean, we were not insured for the first 18 months, I would have thought. But our insurance won't pay out if we don't have a check-in and check-out list. So we must prove that we took the equipment with us, and we must prove that it didn't come back. And it's this kind of thing where the responsibility ultimately comes to the business owner. And you can do one of two things, right? If you get bad feedback or the client says something negative, you can say, oh, balls to those. They're idiots anyway. Those guys hate them. Don't know what they're doing. But you're not going to get anywhere if you do that. So you really need to say, okay, what is the problem? How can we stop this problem happening in the future? And what can we do to rectify the current problem? Sometimes there's an opportunity to resolve the issue. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, we can't resolve it now, it's too late. Let's say we were filming something and we missed something. We wouldn't be able to go back and film again if it was a live event like a wedding or a conference or something like that. But sometimes we've had events where Adam talked about it before Christmas. He filmed something for a client, went over to Colville, so it's not far from where we live. He filmed something, and it was lighting for diamonds and stuff. And we got it back to the office and we were editing it. And we were like, it's just not working. It's just not working. So the way we resolved that is we went back to them. In fact, we went back to them twice. We bought a little filter. We went back to them because we wanted to get it right. The client feedback was, guys, this is not showing what we see with the naked eye. It's not good enough, you know. And we really wanted to delight that client. So we just went back. And actually, we made no money on that gig because we were insistent that we could get this right. It was worth our time to sort of research and develop the process, and then eventually we got it right. And needless to say, they were very happy then at the end. But we could have just said, well, you know, you've booked us for a day's filming, you've booked us for 2 days editing, we've used it, and that's it. We're not going to do anything about it now. You're going to have to pay some more money. But on that occasion, we looked at the feedback and we said, okay, we need to solve this problem. This is on us, really. So I think you have to have that kind of approach and to understand it. Wherever you put that sort of feedback and review process into your process, you need to make sure it's there. You need to just sort of have a time to take stock and say, did this work? Are they happy? What can we do about it to change anything that we need to? So I hope that all makes sense. It's definitely something that's been on my mind recently, as we've talked in the office about changing some of our processes. Okay, so let's have a look. A couple of comments. I've had issues where I've taken equipment to events and it's not worked straight away like it should. Now I check everything and set it up here first and know that there will be no problems. Yeah, and I think actually, Ben, from that perspective, it's hard, right? If you're delivering audio and video to somebody, there's so many things that can go wrong. You know, you can only prep as much as possible. When we film stuff, we generally have 2 lots of sound. So we have our best version of the sound and we have a good version of the sound. It's not best, but it's good. And that's our backup. So if the best version of the sound goes wrong, we've got a good version to use as well. Because both of those things are better than having no sound, right? So it's just kind of doubling up. When we come back and we have the footage here, we take all the footage off, it goes onto our master hard drives, it goes onto a secondary hard drive, and then it goes on to the person who's editing on their hard drive. So again, it's just kind of making sure that each of those things happens in the right way. And of course, when you forget to do those things, what happens? The drive fails or something like that, and then you're screwed and you say, oh, I wish I'd have stuck to the process. So it's not just having this review process and doing something about it. It's actually sticking to the process going forward, and you need to make sure that you do that. And it's hard if you're a one-man band as well, because you have to ultimately make yourself responsible for sticking to those processes. Anyway, I'm going to go, so I'll catch you all later, and if you've got any comments, drop them in the comments below. Bye bye.